Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the WA Running Podcast as Chris and I record on Easter Monday morning, the 21st of April, 2025. No results to cover this week, but we were very fortunate enough to catch up with the wonderful Sarah Greenwood, winner of last weekend's Bunbury Marathon, who's been training the house down these last 12 months. As always, across my screen is my partner in crime, and I'm trying to think of an anecdote, and I can't think of any. Great start already. Chris the Metronome Shaw, how are you, mate?
I'm pretty good. I think I've got a knee injury,
shit.
I went skateboarding with my youngest boy George the other day and knocked my knee. So I don't think it's anything serious. I think it's just a bit of swelling. But the last 3 runs that I've done, so Saturday, Sunday, and this morning, have all been painful. So might be a couple of days off just to. And a few anti-inflammatories to tone things down a bit.
Oh, fair enough. So, wait, when did you do your long run? On Friday?
Yeah, I did a long run Friday. So I hurt my knee on Saturday and decided to go for a run in the afternoon after I'd hurt my knee, which looking back on that was pretty fucking stupid. So...
All right. So other than this potential injury that's going to screw your Gold Coast training over, how's your week been?
Yeah, pretty good. I think coming back from Bunbury obviously last weekend, so ran 115 Ks this week and had a good Friday long run with a few of the guys from Let's Cook running team, which was great. I think Audwin and I started about 5 a.m. and did about 19 odd Ks before we met the rest of the crew, and then we did another loop of the river. So very, very dark. Very luckily, Audwin had his headlights on, and we could see where we were going. But yeah, beautiful time of the morning to run. It's been the weather in the last week has just been absolutely remarkable, and certainly the best time of year for running, if anyone's asking. So my Sunday I had, instead of, because I didn't have any sessions this week, because I was kind of in full recovery mode, so mostly easy running. But I think I did decide to do a bit of a session yesterday. Again, sore knee, but decided to do it anyway. Ended up doing the intention was just to run a progression run for 20 Ks, but I ended up running the start of the progression a bit too quick, and so I progressed up to what roughly by 10 Ks I hit my tempo pace thereabouts. And so I just decided to hold like a 40-minute tempo after that. Felt pretty good. I think my watch was saying that my average heart rate was 178 beats per minute, but I think that's a cadence lock issue. The effort certainly didn't feel like I was on on death's door, but the knee was probably the most concerning thing, if anything. But beside that, mate, reasonably good.
Yeah. So are you going to get that checked out, or are you going to just let nature do its thing and let it heal over the next couple of days?
No, I'm not going to get it checked out. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it's literally a bit of a bruise on the kneecap. So I think there's just a bit of swelling there. There's nothing in the tendon or anything. It's literally on the side of my knee. So I should be okay. I just got to have I think I'm going to have to have a couple of days off and tone it back a bit. Maybe no sessions again this week, and then I had intended to kind of do something more specific toward the end of the week, but I think I'm looking at it now, it's probably not going to happen. We'll just see how the next few days go. Maybe I'll double down and do a Jake Barraclough and run 140 Ks this week out of 4 days or something.
I mean, if you really wanted to be Jake, you'd do 200, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Run yourself out of injury.
Yeah.
So my week was 117 Ks, which is slowly increasing just a bit there. So the GCM 25 83 days to go started this week. So the countdown is on. Sessions this week, there were killer sessions. So typically I would have a VO2 on Tuesday, intervals on Thursdays, and tempo on Saturday. But so Tuesday's VO2 was, I think, 20 reps of 1 minute reps. Which is starting to get a bit spicy and longer. And then Thursdays, instead of the usual intervals that we would do at Gallop, it was the first of many hill reps up Green Mile. So this week was 5 by 3 minute reps up. So we kind of measured it starting at, what's that road that goes through the middle? Lovekin.
Yes.
So instead of like the bottom where the playground, it was Lovekin, and 3 minute reps sort of takes you through up until DNA Tower. And following on from Matt Smorelli's podcast feature last week, where we revealed that he doesn't breathe, I can confirm that he does breathe. Seems like hills is a bit of his kryptonite. So for the first time, and probably the only time, I was able to perform better than Smorelli this week. But I mean, he did do a sub 80-minute half marathon effort over the weekend. So
That's true.
it's probably short term, and he'll be back beating me next Thursday. So that was Thursday. That was pretty tough, but happy to get that done. And then Saturday was, instead of our usual tempo sesh, Tina prescribed the crew to do alternating Ks, which we've done before earlier, I think towards the end of last year, as a bit of a trial. But this will be the first of many alternating K sesh, which is where you do, well, on Saturday it was 10Ks worth of work, and it's continuous, where you would hover between 10K efforts, and then your off K is your marathon pace or under your marathon pace. So for me, the prescribed paces were 350s for the first K, and then you recover under 410s. So yeah, that actually was really good. The weather was really nice Saturday morning, so that made the perceived effort, really comfortable. And
yeah, nice.
I guess the intention behind that workout is so that you physically and mentally prepare yourself for the marathon pace efforts. And psychologically, it got quite tough towards the end. When you realize you just hit a 10K effort, and then you're still going at a pretty decent clip to finish things off. But yeah, really happy with that. Awesome. Felt really strong. I'm not looking forward to how that session progresses, because I believe you do up to 16Ks worth of work of those alternating Ks later in the build. But a good start so far. And I think my countdown is 76 days to go to Gold Coast. So we're getting to the serious end of the block now.
Yeah. How do the legs feel after 117 Ks? It's probably, 10% more than you might have done in previous weeks.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Did a 2-hour 20 run with Shaf yesterday at a pretty decent clip of 440. So that's probably my steady effort. Saw this morning, I think if I did my usual 65 minute run this morning, I think I would have struggled. But my plan is to do that tonight. So hopefully as the day progresses, I'm a little bit more recovered than I usually would. Yeah, I mean, the plan for the next 3 weeks is to hover around this 115-ish K mark. I've got a day off planned on Friday. I think I'm going to take that a bit more serious, where usually when Tina prescribes a rest day, I still run. But I think knowing that I'm going to hit 130 Ks at some point in this build, it's probably best and wise to follow the rest plan days.
Definitely.
Yeah. How about yourself? Like, how, barring, this knee issue, like what's your training looking like for Gold Coast?
Don't really know.
Haven't you planned it all out already?
No, I haven't actually. I've planned out the long runs. Okay. And look, the stuff week to week, I will probably base off of my previous previous marathon builds. To be honest, there won't be too much different there. So what that will mean is basically a VO2 session on a Tuesday, and then on a Thursday doing either a threshold session of around 30 to 40 minutes of duration, and then alternating that the following week would be a tempo session, usually over hills. It would be a hilly tempo of around a similar duration, but probably up to around 50 or 60 minutes, depending on the amount of hills there are. And then my fifth workout of every fortnight would be a marathon-specific long run, or something that's like a a faster finish long run on the second week of every fortnight. So, yeah, I mean, it's not going to change too much. There'll be still gym in there at least once a week. But yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I've got those long runs planned out. There is one long run that I'm actually really looking forward to, which I probably won't talk about on the podcast yet, because there's a bit of planning to do there. But it's nothing. It's not a session. It's just a long run. So hoping to do that sometime, either May or June, as a kind of just a bit of fun, and then. That's it, mate. I mean, there's nothing special to it. I think if I just keep ticking away, as we were talking to Sarah about, just this morning, talking about just stacking week on week. There's no reason why, whatever goals I've got are not achievable. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so Bunbury, you were hoping to go under 80 minutes, and I think your time was 81 something. Is that right?
81:29. So probably not on the mark. I think realistically, if I'd probably run that race a bit smarter and not gone out at 80-minute pace, which, was the goal that I was chasing. So that's the reason why I went out at that pace. But if I had potentially just gone out and sandbagged the first half a little bit and then, and then gone harder in the second half, as I've done in the past, I think that's where you've referred to the Chris Shaw kick before is because usually I'm not really trying all that hard in the first half. And so I'm trying to make up time in the last 3 or 4 Ks. So I think, if I'd gone out probably at the pace that I'd finished, then I reckon I probably could have chopped another 30, 40 seconds off that and been closer to the 80-minute mark. But I don't realistically, I don't think I'm in 80-minute shape. I think I said that to you in the week. So I don't think that's I think, look, just chucking the numbers into calculators and things, I think, a 250 marathon is still quite plausible off of a 81-minute half. So I don't think the goal's changed all that much. I think, I would still be targeting a 248, knowing that there's a lot of running between now and Gold Coast to be done. And then, wherever we land on the day, we land, and if that means it's a 251 or a 252, then so be it, it would still be a considerable personal best to run that.
I mean, if Sarah's got, if we're comparing your times with Sarah did 81 minutes at Busso Bay Run and then just did the Bunbury Marathon in 251. So you're kind of thereabouts. So not too far off. I can't remember if I've asked you either on the pod or not, but do you have any tune-up races planned between now and Gold Coast at this stage? Or are you still kind of thinking at the moment?
I would like to knock a 10K out. I don't really I don't have any interest in doing HBF. I think it's sold out now anyway. And Joondalup, I think I'll do that. If I've got some people, potentially Perich might be running that as an effort, or if Hannah Paget, decides to run that, then I'll run with those two, just as a bit of fun. I don't think I'll be going out and trying to run another 80-minute half marathon there. I think for now, I don't like to do tune-up races, to be honest, in my marathon builds. I like to just focus on the training. So, I think I'll just focus on those marathon-specific sessions and put all of my cookies in that basket rather than go out and try and run a fast half in the meantime. I think there's a couple of there's the Harbour Masters coming up in a month or 3 weeks, which is I got a 10K there, but it's probably not the fastest course. And I don't know if there's many more between now and July anyway to run a fast 10. So I'm more than happy just to keep stacking the weeks together, mate. And depending how this knee goes, we'll see how the next couple of weeks unfold. But I think that I can probably get on top of it this week and then get stuck into training pretty seriously from next week onward.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, let's move straight into our interviews. So just this morning, you and I spoke to a Greenwood that actually completed the course last weekend and is the reigning Queen of Bunbury. Here is our chat with Sarah Greenwood. All right. So our guest today is the Queen of Bunbury, conquering the Bunbury Lighthouse and taking out the Women's Bunbury Marathon last weekend at the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival, coming fourth overall. She's been training the house down these last 12 months with some swift performances across all the distances. So we're very excited to chat to her. Sarah Greenwood, thank you for joining us on the WA Running Podcast.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Chris. I'm excited to be here.
Great to have you. How's your Easter been?
Yeah, Easter's been pretty low key. Not too much running this weekend, so that's been nice. But yeah, just a few casual runs and coffees with friends and family. So
Beauty. Sounds good. I'll quickly run through your PBs, Sarah, just for the sake of the listeners. We've got a marathon at 2:49:41 at Gold Coast Marathon in 2022. We've got a half marathon of 1:21:09 at Busso Bay Run earlier this year, and 3,000 metres at 10:08:58 in 2023 at the Strive meet. So, some pretty good range there, Sarah. How has your running, progressed over the last 5 years since, I guess 3 years since Gold Coast? What has your running been like in that time?
So the last 3 years, just a really gradual progression. I think. I mean, I did attempt a marathon between Gold Coast and Bunbury, but I DNF'd. So I think there was just a few learning curves. That was probably more a psychological thing. At the time I just really wasn't enjoying my running. I think I was maybe doing it to overcompensate for some other things in my life that weren't really going that well, and I was putting a bit too much into my running, maybe to try and distract myself. And I think since then, I've really learned a lot and learned to enjoy my running a lot more. But yeah, I have always loved running, but I think sometimes I've maybe put a bit too much pressure into it. And now I'm at a place that I'm really enjoying it and doing it for, just that reason really, as opposed to having like external reasons to do it. And that's probably the best way I can explain it over the last 3 years. And in the last 3 years as well, I've decided to go self-coached. I think for the last year I've been self-coached, whereas previously I had a coach who was great. I was coached by Ben Green at Front Runner, and he was always like really good. I've always had really good coaches ever since I've been running. But I think just from where I'm at as a recreational runner, I know my body really well and I know what works. I just felt like I didn't need that external guidance anymore, and I could just do it more by feel.
Yeah, nice. No, it's something great you touch on there in terms of finding the reason you're running for, and sometimes pouring too much into it. I think we're all guilty of that sometimes, and whether it be work or relationships or whatever it might be externally in our life, we tend to sometimes overcompensate. So it's good to hear that it's not just me that feels like that.
I think it's so common. I think sometimes people just don't talk about it, or they don't realize, don't realize that they are overcompensating with their running and they haven't addressed other things.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's just get into last weekend's run. So hopefully the bodies and the mind is healing up over the course of the last week. You ran a really swift time of 2:51:26 to take out that women's race and finish fourth overall. I think you ran an 80-second negative split. So every time that I passed you on the course, you looked extremely comfortable. How did the plan go, or what was the plan going in, and how did that plan execute on the day?
Yeah, so I think that the plan basically went as I planned. So I didn't really have a time in mind. I had a pace that I was going to start out at, which was 4:05. And in my head, I just thought, this 4:05 has felt really good in training. So I think best case scenario is what happened, and I was able to get a little bit faster in the second half. And I just thought, look, if I'm not feeling good, I can always drop back to like a 4:10 or something. Yes, that was really the plan. I just wanted to feel good, and I wanted to feel good by the end. I didn't want to hit that wall that most people do in marathons. And me in the past, I've always nothing terrible, but I've always hit a bit of a wall with at least sort of 5 to 7 Ks to go, and my pace has really dropped. So, yeah, but no, I really enjoyed the run. I really enjoyed the course, and yeah, I had the lead bike there, so I didn't feel lonely, even if there was often no real runners around me. But I always had, yeah, my lead bike there for a bit of moral support.
Nice, yeah. And I think you at the start you basically led from the front from the very beginning, but you had another runner, Kim Knox, there with you, I think, or just trailing behind for at least
Yeah.
I think 20 Ks. I mean, did you have the sense of Kim there with you for that period of time, or were you more or less running it, as if you were running solo?
Yeah, I was just running my own pace really. I did. Yeah, it was kind of nice to have her there in the first half.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, it was just a bit funny. Like she was there for the first half, and then all of a sudden, after we passed halfway, she just dropped right off, like dropped right back.
mm,
And I spoke to her at the end, and turns out she just didn't really have much of a race plan. I don't think, she just said she didn't really have a pace, so she just sort of felt okay with me for the first half. Then she just decided it felt a bit fast, so she
mm,
dropped her pace back.
mm.
But yeah, no, she was really nice, and she's from Brisbane. Yeah, she's
Oh wow.
not local, so that's why I probably haven't heard of her before.
Oh, excellent. So, looking at your Strava, you've trained pretty consistent, I think, since for the last 12 months, but particularly since the start of this year. You've ran Busso Bay Run early this year, and you've had some solid marathon specific sessions. So, how did you feel training went overall? And what were sort of those expectations? So, were you coming in perhaps at the start of the training run going, all right, I'll run 405s, or did that sort of progress as the sessions progressed in the months leading up to Bunbury?
Yeah, so I had a pretty short like marathon build, because I think I'm always quite consistent with my running. I run basically every day. I sort of maintain a good base most of the year. So I felt like I didn't really need to do a massive block. It probably ended up being 7 or 8 weeks where I just added on really just a Sunday run and some specific sessions, and everything else was just the same. And I had about, I think, 3 sort of more specific marathon paced sessions. And yeah, in those, the paces that I was running just sort of came out between like 4 and 405. So I thought that sort of felt comfortable. And yeah, sort of pushing up towards 4 minute Ks started to feel a little bit hard. So I was like, nah, I feel like we'll just err on the side of caution. And yeah, but no, it went well, and I enjoyed like all my sessions. I actually found myself getting excited before I was about to do the like my pace runs, particularly like I did a 4 times 6K a couple of weeks out, and yeah, I really enjoyed that session and practicing the fueling, and I ran that by myself, and yeah, it actually was just laps of herdsman, and yeah, it was really fun, which I don't think I've said before about a
I,
specific
I
session.
don't think we say that either.
So did you have the table set up and everything at Herdsman to do the laps, or for your 4x6?
I carry my gels on me, like I have shorts with pockets in them, and I just had some bottles with my electrolyte in it on my car. So every lap I just ran past my car.
Nice.
No, I didn't go to the extent of setting up a table just for me. So
No, cool. No, that's awesome. So we were touching a moment ago on kind of the last 3 years, but where did running start for you before that?
I've actually pretty much always run. I can't really remember a time in my life when I wasn't running. So yeah, it started back in primary school. I guess I started out more as a sprinter. So like I used to win the 100 meter and the 400 meter sprints in primary school, and realized I was quite good at running because I wasn't good at team sports. I was terrible hand-eye coordination. I feel like a lot of runners are like that, just like running in a straight line. And yeah, then just yeah, played lots of sports as a kid, and but yeah, running was always something I was good at, and I'm competitive, so I liked winning. And then when I was 13, I decided I wanted to take things a little bit more seriously, and because I grew up down in Esperance, which is beautiful, but it wasn't. We didn't have little athletics or anything like that, so there wasn't really competition down there. So I got a coach. I was coached by a guy named David Eltringham in Esperance. He actually still holds the under 18 record, Australian record for the marathon. So yeah, really decent runner himself and a really, really nice guy. So I learned so much from him when I was young, being coached. And I'd come up to Perth for competitions every now and again. And I actually trained initially, I wanted to be a 400-meter runner. Uh, Kathy Freeman was my idol growing up, and I just wanted to be like her. But as I kept training and getting a bit older, it became very apparent that I wasn't a very good sprinter. And I was good at the cross country. It's sort of 800 meters and up, but even 800 was a bit too short. So cross country in high school, and after high school, I just was a typical uni student. Drank too much, took that a bit far, but I still always ran just for mental health and just less competitively. But then when I turned like sort of mid-20s, I decided I needed to get my act together, and running was a way to discipline myself and just have some more goals. And that's when I started training with Front Runner. So always run and just kind of gone on and off competing.
And so when you started with Front Runner, did you get straight into, was it half marathons, or were you doing some of the shorter stuff first, or a bit of both?
They're both. I think when I started with Front Runner, I had done a couple of marathons just self-coached, but not taking it too seriously because I was still like binge drinking on the weekends, and just so I ran some marathons, not super fast times, but got them done. And I just realized I was like, oh, I could be much better at this if I actually got a coach and I disciplined myself. And I didn't really have friends that were running back then as well. So joining Front Runner was also a way to meet other runners. Ever since then, Front Runner was so good for just the community, and just I've made pretty much all my really close friends now I've met through running. So that's what really made me stick at it. I think just that, social aspect. And but sorry, to get back to the question, I did I wanted to do a marathon every year. So I did Melbourne Marathon the first 3 years I trained with Front Runner. Yeah, so and I the goal was to break 3 hours. Um, so I had a couple of attempts before I actually broke the three. But that was really the running goal, to break the 3 hours for the marathon. And just progressed from there. I think it probably came quicker than I expected it to, and then just the next goals come, like breaking 250.
Yeah. So selfishly then, so what's the secret to going sub 3 as someone that's training to go sub 3 at Gold Coast this year?
I think, as you probably know, there's no secret, but I mean consistency, definitely. And I'm just, like, you have that. You love your running and always running, so definitely got that. I think just as well I think the mental aspect has so much to it as well, and just taking the pressure off. Like, I think trying to think less about the time, even though that's the goal, just thinking more about how you're feeling and making sure you're enjoying it and not overdoing it as well. Because I think, as I said, the last marathon, which I didn't finish, that was just, I was so fit. Like, that's probably the fittest I've ever been, but mentally I just wasn't in it. I was in a horrible place, and I just physically on the day felt awful because I mentally I'd put so much pressure on myself and just wasn't enjoying it. So no secret, just consistency and And even if you don't get it the first time, just knowing that you'll get there. It'll come. If you do the work and you've laid the groundwork and everything counts. That you don't lose things you've worked on like over all those years.
Exactly. Good to know. Despite the fact that we have a podcast now, so I'm putting a lot of pressure on sub three this year.
Yeah, but no matter what, you'll always have the support. You've got
True.
lots of positive people, and
That's it. That's it. Wonderful. All right. So you've been running pretty consistently for the last couple of years in particular. What would you say has been your favorite performance or race that you've done over the last three to 4 years?
I think my favorite race was probably the first time I broke 3 hours at Melbourne. So that was 2019. So yeah, that was a while ago, but it was just my favorite because I do love Melbourne Marathon. I really enjoyed going over there with like the front runner team and my friends. And that year, I'd been through like a bit of a hard time emotionally that year, but I had my family there. So I had my mum and my dad and my sister and her husband now, but partner at the time, were all there. So it was so nice to share that with them. And my mum actually did her first half marathon that year. So yeah, that was really special. And like finishing my marathon and being so happy and watching my mum finish her half. So yeah, that was definitely my most memorable like race experience.
And what was training looking like in the lead up to that? So Melbourne's an October marathon? Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So what did training look like in general in the lead up to that?
Yeah, I was coached by Ben, and training I was probably doing sort of 110 to, yeah, I'm not sure if I got quite to 120, maybe about 110 Ks a week for pretty solid, at least 10 weeks out. We did the specific runs. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what the specific sessions were that time. But yeah, always like lots of sort of 30 plus K runs. But yeah, obviously you never really get to some people do, but I've never found it helpful to run, a marathon distance in training. That comes on the day. But yeah, I've always followed a similar sort of structure, just 2 sessions a week. If I'm training for a marathon, a long run, or the second session will be part of that long run, so more of a specific. Often the first part like a sort of steady pace, and then finishing like the last sort of half hour at marathon pace. But yeah, and then I always went down to front runner would always have a camp down in Dunsborough. So every year leading up to the marathon, I went down. It's usually like a month out from the marathon. You go down to Dunsborough, stay in Brack's house down there with a group, and have a nice weekend of training and specific run. And yeah, that was really fun, like team environment. So I always did that as well, which helped.
Yeah,
excellent.
I think Matt Maguire's probably shared a couple of stories of those, those camps down in Dunsborough. So it sounds like it's a tradition that's been held for probably a while now.
They're great.
Yeah, and I guess 2019 would that have been pre-Super Shoes?
No, it was just at the start. Actually, I feel like 2019 was the first year where everyone was starting to get onto them. So I did wear a Vaporfly. The first, like, I think it was the first model, like the Vaporfly Next Percent. No, not Next Percent. Sorry, 4%.
4%. Yeah.
4%. Yeah. But no, I really liked that shoe, and I did notice a big difference. I reckon they definitely give you a few.
That's the secret, Simon.
Yeah.
All super shoes.
Yeah, I think the year before I did Melbourne as well, and I tried for sub 3. I was on pace till about 30K, and then I still felt good at 30K. Then I think just like very suddenly by like 32K, I was just like, oh no, I just fell off the pace, and I was wearing the Saucony Kinvaras. So I'm not sure if they're still around But yeah, obviously not a super shoe. But it also was it got quite warm that day. A lot of people didn't run very well that year. But yeah, it was a bit of a learning experience, that one.
For sure. I mean, it feels like, yeah, the marathon can be, you can train for months or years on end, and there could be one variable in there that kind of throws your race off. And
Yeah.
it sounds like last weekend, like a lot of things lined up for you, and it was pretty good weather. The course is good, and yeah, you had put the training in, so you nailed it last weekend. Which,
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome.
Thanks. But yeah, I also think I was saying to Simon as well after the race that one of my big goals as well, leading in, that I had to keep reminding myself, was just to, if anything, it's better to be slightly underdone than overdone with the training. So I made sure, like, I was really conscious leading up that if, the second, like a double run, for example, if I was supposed to do a double run, but I just really had a busy day at work, just didn't feel it, I just wouldn't do it. Like, it's okay you shouldn't be forcing yourself. Obviously, you should be training when you're a bit tired, but sometimes it's better just to have an extra rest day, skip the double run, and just keep yourself mentally fresh as well. So I find I would get very mentally exhausted sometimes by marathon training blocks. So you want to actually go into the race like being ready to do it and focused, and yeah, like you don't want to be sick of running by the time that you get to the marathon.
That's true. And I think like for a lot of us runners, we're sort of more on the obsessive type
Mm,
as well. So I imagine you're deep in a marathon block and you've got everything laid out and planned, and you're like so obsessed of getting the mileage done or getting the runs down that, yeah, like you said, by the time you get to the start line, you're not really in the mood to run a marathon, which
yeah.
can be very detrimental to your performance on the day.
Yeah, no, you don't want to be in that place.
Yeah.
You want to be fresh.
So I understand you're a physio, and you're a part of Corsa Collective, where you're a coach. How did that come about?
So Corsa Collective is so that was started by my friend Meg Shine. So Meg's a physio as well. She works for Frontrunner now, but she was a part owner of Endurance Movement, which you've probably heard of. It's based south of the river.
Mm.
Strength and conditioning, physio, yeah, gym, clinic. So Meg was working there, and then it no longer, endurance movement shut down, unfortunately. Um, and Meg still had some athletes that she coached, and she had a little running group out of there. So she decided to just continue that, and just started her own name, Corsair Collective. And yeah, Meg and I are just good friends. And I said that I really wanted to do some coaching. And yeah, she said, yeah, come under my banner. So it's really like, yeah, it's a side hustle for both of us. Like, I work in workplace rehab, so I don't do clinical physio anymore, but yeah, I still help people with their injuries and getting back to work. And yeah, the coaching's just something really fun on the side. And we have a group, like Meg takes interval sessions on a Thursday. And yeah, we both have some clients that we coach. Yeah, it's mostly like online coaching, like a lot of people are doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really fun. And including myself, I've got 4 clients at the moment. So yeah.
How's that experience been, I guess, doing a bit of coaching along with your own running journey? Like, has that shifted your perspective of running in any way?
Yeah, I think it has. It's been really good. Like, part of why I wanted to do it was just to give back, because running, as I said, has been like a huge part of my life. I've always done it, and it brings me so much purpose, and so I really love seeing other people experience that. So yeah, my mum's one. So my mum, I've like guided her with her running, and well, she always ran when I was young as well, so we ran together a lot. And my mum loves running, and it's been good to see how much enjoyment she gets out of it, and then just extending that to other people who want to get into running and just improve their times, or but also, yeah, connect with other runners, and yeah, so no, it's just been, yeah, it's really rewarding.
Excellent. Cool. All right. So, a bit of trolling through social media. We've seen you've partnered with Pure Light, and we've seen Pure Light at a couple of the Marathon Club events this year already. Tell us a little bit about Pure Light and your involvement with them.
Yeah, so Pure Light, I won a bag of Pure Light at the Applecross Shoreline Run. And yeah, I'd never heard of it before, and I've never really used like specialty hydration or anything like that. Just in my head, I was like, oh, too expensive. Um, but yeah, I won some Pure Light and I tried it and was using it and I loved it. And I was like, oh, I want to buy this. So yeah, I looked into it, and because I thought I would just be able to get it through like Running Warehouse or like one of those retailers. But yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere apart from just their site, and then realised it was a quite a new WA based brand. So yeah, I ordered some, and yeah, I got in touch with the owners, Emily and Nathan, who are, yeah, really lovely. And yeah, I've partnered with them because they've wanted some like athletes and people in just like health and fitness industry to yeah, help out with their, I guess, marketing. And yeah, I've just, yeah, really enjoyed using the product. It's, yeah, it's all natural ingredients, no sugar. And yeah, just being a WA brand and like really lovely people behind it. Yeah, it's the sort of product I want to be using.
Yeah, it's important. It's definitely important to support your local, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, when you find a product that you like, it's, you want to stick with it, right? And especially if running can be so particular with nutrition and hydration. You find something that clicks, you want to.
Yeah, I've noticed like a big difference with recovery, especially like just I think maybe because I wasn't great before, just I would always end up with big like headaches like post my workouts because I just wasn't. I was having water, but probably not enough, and not the extra like electrolytes, sodium, all of that. So yeah, Pure Light's like tastes really good as well, and it's really easy to get down. And I don't like the like really the sugary drinks because I get that through my gels. So I just found much when you've got the product, the hydration with everything in it. It's just, yeah, I prefer keeping it separate. And but yeah, highly recommend for anyone looking for a good hydration product. Yeah, give Pure Light a go. And they've got some they've got other flavors coming out. They've just got the lemon and lime at the moment, but they are working on some other flavors. Hopefully I'm allowed to say that, but
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll definitely keep an ear and an eye out. So, look, yeah, I think you've had a little bit of a quiet week this week, obviously, having just run the marathon. Have you got some downtime over the next few weeks, or is there something else that you're kind of now getting yourself ready for in 2025?
I got some, yeah, downtime the next couple of weeks, but I have got, so I think it's the 18th of May, I'm pacing the 90-minute group for the June July half. So yeah, looking forward to that again. Just something a bit more fun and help some other people with their running goals. So that's the next thing. I do plan to do Melbourne Marathon in October. Yeah, so really excited because, as I said, I love Melbourne Marathon. Haven't done it since 2019, so it'd be good to go back and do that. But yeah, not a lot between now and then. I'm actually going to Italy mid-year with my partner and some friends for, yeah, like 3 weeks. So I've got a bit of a European holiday plan. So I just keep fit, and probably when I get back from that, start the Melbourne Marathon block.
Beauty. Are you the kind of person that still runs while they're on holiday in Europe, or do you like to take the time off?
Yeah. Will there be 100K weeks in Italy? Is the
Oh,
question.
there won't be 100K weeks, but I'll definitely run. Like I'll probably still try and run most days because it's a good way as well. I'm not sure if you guys are the same, but just a good way to see like a new city. It's a good way to explore and have
Definitely.
some alone time as well. Like if you're traveling with like other people, I like to have a bit of alone time, and running's a good way to, because yeah, usually on holidays I'm the only one who's probably going for a run.
I'm very much the same. I've also got a 3-week holiday coming up in Europe in a few months' time, and so I think I'll be doing very similar things to you. Yeah,
Yeah, you going with the family?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be nice. But yeah, no, it's it'd be summer over there too, so it'd be nice to get away from Perth winter and
For sure. Beauty.
get some heat
Awesome.
training in.
Yeah, definitely. And ahead of Melbourne, where it's going to be probably very cold in October.
Oh yeah. Very true.
Yeah. Sarah, thanks so much for joining us today. An absolute pleasure to speak to you and to meet you. And look, we're really looking forward to seeing what your running looks like over the next 6 months. I'm sure Melbourne's going to be amazing. Hopefully a few more clients at Corsa Collective for you as well. And no, thank you so much for joining us on the WA Running Podcast.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, guys. Yeah, you guys are doing awesome job with the podcast. It's really down to earth and really fun listen. And thanks so much.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us this morning. An amazing chat to Sarah. The first time we actually met Sarah properly since the start of this pod. So amazing to see how her training's progressed and a very consistent runner. Don't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And what I took from the interview was, her mindset. Yeah, not putting too much pressure on yourself in a marathon block to run a particular time. So I think you and I can probably take a lot of knowledge from that interview and hopefully apply that to our own builds over the next few months.
Yeah, definitely agree. All right, let's move on to upcoming events. So this coming weekend, we've got the Lake Rumble Run, which is down in Myhood, Neil Hawkins Park. Distances in the 5K, 14K, 21K, 28K, and the marathon. We've got the Freeports Harbour Master Classic, which is in the following week, Sunday the 4th of May, with the 5K and 10K. Are you locked in for that?
Look, I think it's either the 10K myself or I'll run the 5 with Henry. So Henry hasn't decided if he's doing it yet. So there'll be one or the other, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. So the medal hasn't tempted him.
Nah, not this time, but
all right, then we've got the Salt Lake City Trail Race, which is organised by the Secret Rocky Runners, also on the 4th of May. So you've got distances in 6K, 12K, and the 24K, which is a 6K loop. We've got the Margaret River Ultra Marathon, which I feel like every Perth person is heading down to compete in. That's all sold out, and those organised by the guys from Rapid Ascent. We've got the Mother's Day Classic on the 11th of May. I don't know if our Oracle is planning on doing this event or not, but seems like he loves to participate in the Mother's Day Classic or the Women's Classic, one of the two. And then we've got the Marathon Club Joondalup Running Festival on the 18th of May, which is my half marathon send descend. We've got distances in the 5K, 10K, and the half marathon. And then finally, to cap off May, we've got HBF Run for a Reason. And as you said, Chris, the half marathon is sold out. That's Sunday, the 25th of May. All right, let's get straight into Warp admin, Chris.
Yeah, so one of the big announcements we've got, I guess, we've just completed our Bunbury training series, but we also have a Gold Coast training series coming up, which is extremely exciting. We've been planning it for a very long time, knowing that you and I have signed up for it. Unfortunately, it's only you that's going to be under the microscope for this this one, but it's going to be yourself. We've got Carlos Aquino, we've got Loz French, and we've got Rosie Sperling as our 4 athletes. So very excited to see where the training goes and just the week to week discussions and insight that everyone's going to provide into what they're aiming for and how their preparation goes for that race. Are you nervous to be under the microscope each month as we talk about it?
Not nervous per se, but I am sharing the mic with a Carlos Aquino and a Loz French who do their easy runs at sub 4:30 pace. And I think I saw this morning Loz had a dodgy Italian dinner the night before, but still managed to knock off a sub 4:30 pace at easy run on a Monday. So I think I'm more intimidated to share a mic with them more than my own training. And yeah, we'll see how the curse of the podcast goes in terms of the sub 3 marathon build.
No, hopefully this is the added factor that you needed to get you over the line, mate, is peer pressure.
That's true. We'll find out how much bicarb Carlos takes in the marathon build in lead up to Gold Coast. Actually, it'll be very interesting to get the different perspectives of training. So we've got two Team Tina athletes in myself and Loz. We've got Rams running in Carlos, and then we've got front runner in Rosie. So it'll be very interesting to see the different approaches to marathon builds, and I think the listeners will get a lot out of those different experiences. Knowing Carlos and Loz, I think you get two very good, strong-willed athletes as well. So definitely some tips I think I will be able to steal off when it comes to mindset training over the next 11 weeks.
Definitely. So I guess, for the listeners, we've got that probably recording our first episode of that in the first week of May. So that'll be coming probably in 3 to 4 weeks' time. And then it'll be monthly recordings thereafter, basically leading up to the race, and on which we'll recap the race afterwards. So looking forward to launching that in a few weeks' time. So in terms of our weapons of war this week, we've got a couple of interesting ones, actually. We've got Phil Gore, who completed the Sydney Backyard Ultra. He won that race, and his final lap, his first lap was his slowest lap, and his final lap was his fastest lap, which is a massive flex on the rest of the runners, don't you say?
Yeah, a bit of an A1 lap progression run there by Phil.
Yeah, basically. I think Ryan Crawford was the assist for that race, if I'm not mistaken, and Ryan was one of the athletes that competed in the World Champs last year with Phil, I believe. So great job from Phil there. Stamping his authority on that format once again. We also had, in terms of actual weapons, we've got robots completing a half marathon in Beijing during the week. Do you want to take us through that, mate?
Yeah, I was watching some clips with my daughter this morning in bed, and all I have to say is an absolute debacle. It just looks so shit. See robots run a half marathon. The winning robots was from the Beijing Innovation Center of Human Robotics, with a very swift time of 2 hours and 40 minutes compared to the men's win of the race, which was an hour and 2 minutes. So safe to say that robots aren't taking over the sport anytime soon. But I definitely was not impressed by the technology in robotics in running marathons. Not as good as Phil. I mean, imagine Phil Gore taking on robots in a backyard ultra.
Yeah, we'll see who's got longer battery life. Yeah,
that's it. All right, that's it for us in this week's episode of the WA Running Podcast. You can reach us on Instagram at WA Running Pod. Our email address is warunningpodcast@gmail.com, and our Strava group is Warp. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.
I feel like we need to do more talking during these outros. I think Jackson's started something.
Yeah.
Yeah.